Three of them.
Okay.
So dang, they can't even come back to the room.
If you don't get up out the bathroom.
This one is. I don't think this is way more than.
No, it's not. I'm the one who started the room.
I thought Kirko told me it was like it started at.
He didn't know. He was estimating. He didn't know what he was talking.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you're the one that raised him. Just like he wants you to change. That I have evidence?
No, it shows here, it could be wrong, maybe it's a mistake, but it shows that you voted in the poll here. It says, I asked, do you have evidence? And it says, yes, come up, and you voted for that.
Oh, evidence for God. Oh, I mean, not like objectively true evidence, but I mean, I just have my subjective life experience.
Oh, okay. Then we've got nothing else to speak about. I'm not interested in thoughts, feelings, opinions. What you want to be true, what you don't want to be true. I'm only interested in claims made.
Gotcha. Okay, so if I were to, I guess the best evidence I can think of is that most cultures in the world have religions, and that these religions answer common questions. And they answer similar questions regardless of where they are in the world and what time these cultures existed. They answered similar questions. And that these religions, they shape the surrounding culture. And they keep popping up. When people ask the sky or the ground or the trees or the volcanoes or whatever's around them. You know, what is the reason for living? What is it? Why are we here? What happens when we die? What should we do when we're alive? There are commonalities in the answers, independent of the location or the time frame. And I think that would be evidence for a higher power.
Okay. Thanks for that. The thing is, this title here, what I'm asking, is it kind of suggests that I don't know. People seem to be answering evidence for God. Okay, so I think I'm hoping for people who are atheists, maybe, or agnostic, to come in. But it's the people, it's theists who are answering, you know.
God, what are you looking for? Or I guess you're not. You don't answer questions. I don't know how to converse with that, but I don't know what you're looking for. Can you ask me more pointed questions so I can answer you?
I'll drop my rule then. Okay. I will answer your first question. You seem very reasonable. Okay. So when I say God, I'm thinking a deity like the creator of everything.
Okay.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
But I'm an agnostic atheist myself.
Okay.
It's just when I hear my fellow atheists speak, they make claims that there's no evidence for God, right? And when I've questioned them, instead of answering in a coherent manner, in a polite manner, they resort to name calling, verbal abuse. You know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I think it's unfair when my fellow atheist ridicules the God believer for believing in something without evidence, right? Where them themselves seem to be making claims, like on the title, there's no evidence for God. But when questioned, they don't have the evidence for the claim that they're making. I just think that's unfair.
Yeah, I think that's unfair too.
And furthermore, many times I've heard atheists say God doesn't exist. There is no God. Two claims there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard the theists say, I'm not too sure if God exists or not. It's just a belief that I hold, right?
Sure.
And I personally believe that in them two examples, it's the atheist who's more illogical, and it's the theist who's logical. Because the theist is just saying it's just a belief that they hold, but they don't know for sure. They're not making any claims. It's just a belief, you know. Mm-hmm. Whereas the atheist is making the claim. They're going further than the belief. I just think that's very unfair. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's fair in the sense that you can think, you can hold any belief you want, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be logically consistent.
That's true.
In that sense, I think it's super fair. I don't think it's illogically consistent, but I do think it's fair.
Yes. I mean, I have beliefs. I said earlier before you were here, I think I have beliefs that I don't have any evidence for. I don't have any evidence that the people I've been in a relationship with have been faithful to me.
Rubenchik, Rubenchik, can you put me in your queue? This is Rod.
Can I put you in my queue?
Yeah, I want to ask you a question, Stephen, a question.
Yes, you can talk.
I know that name. I know that voice.
So my question is about materialists or physicalists, because there's a Yiddish expression that says "Alles ist Gott," all is God, and there's a belief that everything in the objective material world is God. And so how do you, I guess, deconstruct that, rationalize that, or, dispute that?
Are you asking me or?
Who's that question to?
To you, Rubenchik, and Stephen.
Okay. I think it's I heard a good quote from AI once that we are the universe observing itself. That was kind of cool. Cool thought that we're simply like part of the whole, I think that can, yeah, I totally think that's a possibility. So, yeah, I think it's rather easy to rationalize that concept.
Are you a Christian, Stephen?
Hell no. Nope.
Are you religious?
Yes.
What religion are you part of?
None.
Then you're like me.
I'm a cherry picker. If I hear something from a faith that I really enjoy, and I think it comes from God, then I follow it. And if I don't believe it comes from God and I think it's man-made, then I don't follow it.
Yeah,
That's not religion then that you believe in. Then you're outside religion. Religion is man-made.
I believe that's true.
So in the chat, I wrote, I can prove there is no evidence whatsoever for God, but the no evidence is, so we have a problem here, which I'm trying to point out, which is that atheists and their definitions are essentially the conflict, because that statement, everything is God, which is the term Allah, Godfather, the All Father.
Oh my God, Allah doesn't come from all, dumbass. Allah comes from Allah, and Allah is.
Did you just call me a dumbass? Did you just call me a dumbass? I just want to confirm you called me a dumbass.
You make a reference from Allah to all. Allah is not an English word, so.
Fatima, I don't work for the complaint department. I'm trying to play a linguistic game here. Look at what I put in the chat, because part of this explanation is linguistic, and I'm trying to make a point about how
Yes, but
the objects.
Linguistically, Allah doesn't have anything to do with the English word all.
I know, but I'm making a philosophical, metaphysical point about nothingness, the void, the vacuum, that the space around the object is what gives definition to the object itself. So there's this background, foreground, and, you know, there's just, it's a multi-dimensional relative reality. And part of the problem on the planet today is we have this linguistic it's actually like a grammar problem. And I asked, and Stephen, you showed me a really good suggestion to AI, asking questions like, what do you know about me that I don't know about myself? What?
Oh, you like that? You like that prompt?
And I couldn't believe it, but fucking Grok wouldn't answer the questions. I don't know why. I couldn't get it to respond. And I kept putting in the follow-up comment, like, answer the question. And fucking Grok wouldn't respond. So I'm going to go back. I could have hit my query limit for the day or something, but I was annoyed. So anyways, I'm just telling you that our solution to the problem of the situation will always reside in the word, not the sword, the word. And, but a sword is a word. And so I just want to say, strike the master chord and draw the flaming sword. I am complete.
Have you heard? Have you read any of Bruce Lee's philosophy?
As a matter of fact, I do have multiple books about and by Bruce Lee, and they're really interesting because he's very philosophical.
Yeah, he loves that concept of emptiness. That the void defines the thing. It's the emptiness that defines the thing.
But that's the evidence. If this was a courtroom and we had to prove there's no evidence for God, we would be submitting negatives. We would be submitting the opposites. And so that is the evidence for what you could call a silver lining. And that gray zone is really the hot zone, or, the target rich environment for proving the existence of God through the negation of God. And that's why Hindus say neti, 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 not this, not this, not this, not this. That's one way to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there is no God, or there is a God. I'm not sure anymore. Hello?
I'm listening. I was interested in how you could prove it musically.
Sure, let me demonstrate. Okay, take the deepest breath of the day. That's called a bell. It's called another bell. And this is a song called I'm Gonna Prove to You There Is No Evidence for God. That's the name of the song. This song is only possible by the void in the drum itself. This calfskin stretched across the top of the drum. I'm proving it musically. You just don't like my opinion.
That is painful.
That was my doing.
That was ugly.
I did ask.
Don't worry, I won't take umbrage, Stephen. I thought you were serious, Reed.
That's an interesting word to use for
What is the word? That's interesting.
serious. Yeah, I wouldn't call him.
I thought he was
He's serious in some ways, but his I think the whole point is that his playfulness of what is and isn't serious is the point.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to read off what AI says. Not that AI is a credible source. I did something a few weeks ago, and what AI said on both occasions contradicted one another. But here goes. It is generally held within both scientific and physiological communities that the existence or non-existence of God cannot be definitively proven or disproven. That's what AI says. And I guess I believe that. I'm not willing to make the claim that's the case because, I don't believe there's anything that I know is the truth. I don't know that my mother was my mother. My child is my child, or I'm in a car right now, or I'm in.
You're highly certain.
Or I'm in love with somebody right now that's in my mind. I can only give. It's only a belief that I have. I'm open that I could be wrong on all them things. I mean, I could hate the person that I think I love. My mother could not be my mother, after, in fact, and my child could hate me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think it's unfair when my fellow atheists ridicule the theist for believing in God without evidence. That's what they say. When the theists themselves are making claims that God doesn't exist, there's no evidence for God, and when questioned, instead of answering in a coherent fashion, they resort to verbal attacks, name calling. Okay, so if the theist is illogical for believing in God, I think that the atheist should be also illogical in making claims without evidence.
Yeah. This is logic being logically consistent. Is that what you're striving for above all else?
Well, people speak about people speak about mathematics having proofs, right? Like 2 + 2 is 4, and 2 + 2 is always going to be 4, and it's impossible that for it to be anything other than that, right? I mean, I'm not saying I'm right here, Mr. Stephen. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just the way I think. To live our lives, I think that's right. Okay, that 2 + 2 is going to be 4. And it's impossible for it to be anything else. Okay, that's a belief to hold. But when you make the claim, which is further than the belief, I feel, you're ruling out, let's say a deity, an all-knowing, all-powerful deity, which is implemented in humans' minds that 2 + 2 is 4, and it cannot be anything else. Where in fact, 2 + 2 can be other than 4. So if you're making a claim and saying it's impossible for you to be wrong, you must be ruling out every other option, any other possibility. And that's the way I feel.
Can I share something from my religion?
What's your religion again?
I'm a pluralist.
Pluralist. I've never heard of it.
So I believe that all religions are somewhat correct, and also all religions are somewhat flawed because men make mistakes.
Okay.
And they're also influenced by outside sources other than God.
Well, I think people in Christians, Muslims, and religious Jews, I think they will typically do whatever's acceptable in the community, irrelevant if it's going against what the Bible says.
Sure. Yeah. Can I share something?
Yes.
So, my faith is very adamant about something, and it's that it is a waste of time to be in search of this 100% certainty, and that it's much more important that you do things that are probably beneficial for yourself and others. And it's to focus on this being more and more and more and more and more certain, to talk about it, to talk about what is moral, to talk about what is right, is most of the time a waste of time. And that it's much, much more important to do what you already believe is right, and to focus on doing and helping.
Okay, Are you giving that freedom to the individual?
Yes.
Okay, so if one person believes that doing something is a good thing and a right thing and a just thing, then that's all that matters, right? And
doing the thing is what matters. And
what another person views that if that's right or wrong should not be influential, right?
It prioritizes the individual's beliefs.
Yeah, let's say an individual wants to take photographs at a kindergarten school. Are you giving that freedom to the individual and not to listen to anybody else?
If they believe that is what is the most good that they can possibly do in that time.
Well, you've got me, Stephen. You surprised me.
And the reason being is that there are people that are going, like you're mentioning right now. There are people that are going to do bad things because they're mistakenly believe it's right. There's going to be a very small sliver of people that do that. But I believe that if everyone followed that advice, much more good than bad would get done, would actually get done, versus talking about it, where if everyone talked about it, nothing would get done. And if everyone did what they believed was good, most of it would be good and some of it would be bad. And I would rather, I think it would be more beneficial to the world if we took that trade-off and we said, okay, whatever you believe is good, just go do that. And the fact that some people will do wrong anyway and believe it's right is baked into the equation, because more people will inherently do what is good than do what is bad.
Yes, I think there's some truth to that. I want to congratulate you on being consistent. By the way, that was what I meant when I said, I'm impressed by you. But just let me read off a line. It's a quote from a song called "To Ramona" by Bob Dylan. Okay, and not that it has any meaning here. It's just something that come to my mind. Everything passes, everything changes. Just do what you think you should do. And that's a quote from Bob Dylan's song "To Ramona." It's a beautiful song. I just wanted to say that. Okay. What else did I want to say? Oh, what do you think about Buddha, by the way? Do you know what Buddhas are? Them sculptures?
Yeah.
What do you think about these Buddhas?
I'm kind of ignorant on Buddhism. I think I should learn more about Buddhism as a faith.
I think they're all right.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met a Buddhist that's an asshole. Never met one. They all seem pretty nice to me. I'm sure they exist, but
yeah. You seem to be a cool guy, Stephen.
Thanks.
Most people get offended when they speak to me, but you're all right.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed my presence. I enjoy yours.
Thanks.
But next time, let Reed do his weird music stuff.
Gotta watch. No, I'm sorry. That was very rude of me. I'm gonna take the heat. I'll take the heat for that. But one thing that I can't stand is something that sounds ugly, and it's somebody going Allah Akbar, or somebody playing, music or whatever he was doing. That sound, it was hurting my ears. It extremely triggering for me. I'm sorry. I can apologize certainly, but I can't let it happen again.
Okay.
If you say, but I'll take the heat for being a bad person.
He comes up with some good points every now and then. You should listen closely to what he has to say.
Okay.
He will troll the room sometimes, but he'll also try to teach a lesson while trolling, if that makes sense. So it's there's a deeper inner lesson that he's showing through the trolling. So part of it is like if you're like owning a room, you know, this is your room, like you're going to be like, you know, screw trolls or whatever. But if you let him, give him a little bit of a longer leash, sometimes there's something deeper within that.
Yeah.
You could call Steven a fan or something. You know, people often compare me to what's his name? What's that comedian's name? But anyways, listen, the point is I have a sacred text document I would like to share with you that proves there is no God.
Yeah, you want to share it in the chat?
What? I'll let you read it or send it. But what happens if I read it and I have doubt still?
Well, I would say that the sacred text document that I'm going to read, it's playful, and so at this, you know, it will prove there is no God, but at the same time, at almost the exact same moment or shortly thereafter, it will, you know, you will question it, and then you'll say, I see the joke in this. There most likely is a God. But either way, whether there is a God or there isn't a God, these books written by people who are talking about God, who are also debating whether there are gods or God, they are essentially doing a self meditation and a self analysis for game theory and this thing we call the game of life, as a way, in my opinion, to deeply relax us, to eliminate a lot of the fear of the unknown, and give confidence and certainty, not blind faith, but higher levels of intelligence. So many people confuse God with being, as I asked earlier, about the material world, and what people on here are using the term, physicalists. So I'm just trying to say that the subject and the object, that unification is what we were trying to achieve. This is all about personal development, self-development. All this religious mumbo jumbo, it's all about personal development and expanding your consciousness by using the mirror of the self and polishing that mirror, which is the I am, which is a methodology of enlightenment. And, you know, I am complete. This is your friend, Raed. That's your Zen bell. Just take the deepest breath of the day.
Are you on the level, sir?
Second level or first level? Because I'm going to go lay in the sun and relax.
Are you? Which country are you in?
I'm not in a country. I'm on a planet. It's called Earth. Has an ear in front of it. Maybe you can't hear it, but some people like to think that I'm inside Uranus.
It's very droll. Very droll, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the term antinatalism? Have you heard of it?
Yes. It's a shame. It's just awful. It's terrible. There's just so many awful, terrible, horrible people out there.
Well, I understand the position. Stephen, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
If you had the ultimate decision to make, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you had two babies in front of you, right? Newborn babies, right? Number one, you make that's a bad analogy actually. Maybe different. I'm gonna think of another one. Okay, you got two children. You got two children in front of you. Same thing, I guess. You can either choose option A, where these children never will feel anything negative in their life. Nothing at all. Zero. No pain, no sorrow. They won't feel cold. They won't feel too hot. They won't have hunger pains. They won't have illnesses. Nothing. Zero. Right? No suffering whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Or choose option B, where all that suffering that I mentioned is certain. Which one would you choose? HB?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would introduce a child into a situation where they're going to feel pain.
Ireland wants to offer
abuse, bullying, cheating on. They're going to have awful sicknesses, and they're going to face death itself. Is that what you would choose for somebody?
Yes.
Okay. I would choose A.
Okay.
Wait, who is it for? You. Her.
What would you?
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
What would you choose, Miss Danielle? Yes.
I gave a cool Google document if you want to if you're interested in an interesting read.
What do you send me?
Yeah, put it in the chat.
I spent 5 of my paychecks on a raffle and I won Outback.
Test with the DIA.
Yeah. It's a test for the word of God.
Okay.
Somebody at TikTok.
I made it.
Little F or little, I don't know.
I was curious on your.
I'm going to look at that later, okay?
Yeah, look at it later. You can DM me or whatever if you
Okay.
have any questions.
Now, if there was a man driving along the road, right, and he could either choose to carry on driving past some children walking on the street, or he would abduct them and kill them, right? Which would you say is the best option?
Not killing them.
Points for now, then you should listen closely to what I
So you would say it's best to keep going and not put them in a situation or bring them into a situation where they're going to harm, right?
Yes, I believe that.
Why would your answer different when I asked you the first time?
Showing
Suffering is important.
part of it is like if you're like owning a room, this is your room, like you're gonna be like, screw trolls or whatever. But if you let him give him a little bit of a longer leash sometimes there's something deeper within that.
They're not suffering, are they not?
Yeah. You could call Steven a fan or something.
Maybe
People
I
often compare
misunderstood
me
your
to
question.
what's his name?
Maybe
What's that comedian's name?
I can give you
but anyways,
some reasoning why.
listen, the point is, I have a sacred sacred text document I would like to share with you that proves
the most
there's no
amazing
God.
lives that have ever been lived. If you look at
Okay, you want to share it in the chat?
I'll let you read it. Or send it.
Alexander the Great, the Napoleons, George Washington.
Well, I would say that the document, the sacred text document that I'm going to read, it's playful, and so
the Mahatma Gandhis.
it will prove there is no God, but at the same time, at the almost the exact same moment, or shortly thereafter, it will, you will question it, and then you'll say, I see the joke in this.
Ever lived.
There most likely is a God. But either way, whether there is a God or there isn't a God, these books written by people who are talking about God or also debating whether there are gods or God, they are essentially doing a self meditation and a self-analysis for game theory and this thing we call the game of life. As a way, in my opinion, to deeply relax us, to eliminate a lot of the fear of the unknown, and give confidence and certainty, not blind faith, but
and I think
higher levels of intelligence. So many people confuse God with being, as I asked earlier about the material world, and what people on here are using the term, physicalists. So I'm just trying to say that the subject and the object,
from Rocky.
That unification is what we were trying to achieve. This is all about personal development, self-development. All this religious mumbo jumbo. It's all about personal development and expanding your consciousness I'm using the mirror of the self, polishing that mirror, which is the I am,
the lessons that resilience can teach you. I think it's one of the most valuable lessons in
I am complete. This is your friend,
and that the lessons of resilience cannot be learned without
just take the deepest breath of the day.
Are you on the level, sir?
Hey, gentlemen.
I would rob them of one of the most amazing parts of living if I gave them, if a life was available without suffering.
Okay. So it's best to make people suffer.
I mean, not all the time, but I think if you only gave me two options, an option where no suffering was available and an option where some suffering is available, I would pick the option with some suffering.
Okay. Have you got some children?
No.
Hi, Yassi.
Gentlemen, point of order, moderator. I just want to say, I put in an X grok query. It says, I was asking, what are Noam Chomsky's key contributions to language theory, communication theory, and related research? This is what it says. Universal grammar, innate structures enabling language acquisition. Generative grammar, rules for generating infinite sentences from finite means. Chomsky hierarchy, classification of formal grammars by complexity. Transformational grammar, deep versus surface structure and syntax. Poverty of the stimulus, argument that language learning exceeds environmental input. The syntactic structures, which is in 1957, foundational text, revolutionizing linguistics. Propaganda model, framework for media bias in manufacturing consent. Innateness hypothesis, language as a biological faculty. Merge operation, core mechanism in minimalist program and biolinguistics, integrating linguistics with biology and cognition. So, I mean, this is like one way of looking at evidence that God does not exist, meaning that there are rules and laws and theories of grammar, of language, of communication. And what we're doing on this conference call is transferring packets of information to each other. And you brought up anti-natalism. I'm going to click that link and read a little bit. I'll be right back.
God often highlight that the universe operates through consistent physical and logical laws rather than divine intervention. In this view, systems like grammar and digital communication are human-constructed frameworks that function based on internal rules and packets of information rather than transcendental design. Linking this to anti-natalism.
Far above me, right? I can understand him when he's speaking about geopolitics, but everything that you said is too advanced for me. But I do like Noam Chomsky. I like that his father was a Hebrew professor. I like it that Noam Chomsky, speaks Hebrew. And I do agree with his views on geopolitics. I remember him speaking to somebody one time, and he was going down the atrocities that each American president has done. But I agree with him, kind of, some of them. But anyway, I'm just saying that what you're speaking about, linguistics, is far above my comprehension. Linguistics, I mean, antinatalism is something that I understand very much, okay? It would be better to not bring children into the world and for humanity to become extinct. That would be the best for future generations. Well, they won't be here. And that would be best for Earth, I believe. I understand it. I appreciate it. I really do. There was a time where I would keep it to myself, actually, antinatalism. But now I'm confident in expressing. And I think I'm coming from a humanist point of view. I really am. There's a lot to be said about antinatalism. Humanity will become extinct, of course. I don't know the time frame. I'm not saying I want anybody suffering because of it. I wouldn't want like a bomb to explode, a nuclear bomb or whatever, anything like that. But slowly and gradually for humanity to become extinct, just like other life forms have become extinct. This would be a great thing for humanity. I think, a mother and a father brings a child into the world. The child has absolutely no say in the matter. And that child, it has the stress of childbirth. It's going to be bullied at some point, ridiculed, cheated on. It's going to have terrible sicknesses, illnesses, suffer from depression, clinical depression maybe, beaten up, tortured, suffocated, all these things. Well, some are not certain, but a majority of them are said as certain in life, and then they're going to face death itself, and that person's going to experience all them negative, horrendous feelings and pain, and they had no say in the matter. Okay, they had no say in the matter.
Wait, can I ask Stephen a question? Hi, Stephen. You were saying something about the sufferance and suffering and how, like, every greatness and every great person, like the achievement, what they achieved was coming from their sufferings.
Partially.
Right? Okay. No, partially. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, you look at, let's pick, who do you want to pick? Yeah, see, we can pick anyone you want to talk about. Literally anyone. Actually, I did a little AI inquiry on, let me put this up. I asked AI, how much has suffering affected the total benefit of Woody Allen to the human race? How has suffering helped and hurt Woody Allen from a selfish perspective? How suffering helped Woody Allen's total benefit to humanity. It generated a unique artistic lens. Allen's anxiety, hypochondria, fear of death, sexual insecurity, and moral self-scrutiny became raw material. It produced a body of work that normalized neurosis as human rather than shameful, made intellectual insecurity visible and discussable, turned private dread into public humor. Entire generations learned to laugh at anxiety instead of hiding from it. It expanded the emotional vocabulary of comedy itself. So before Woody Allen, comedy largely avoided existential dread, moral ambiguity, and self-contempt. He helped create a modern confessional comedy and neurotic protagonists, that later creators built upon. It rewarded honesty over heroism. His characters are weak, cowardly, contradictory, and self-aware. The subtly changed cultural myths about masculinity, certainty, and dominance. And for many viewers, this was psychologically liberating.
That was very good, actually. Because my I can't believe it. Because it played actually to what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask, don't you think that there is a confusion between this pain and suffrage and effort, or this everything, like the discipline, the efforts that the persistent that these people endure to overcome all these anxieties and all that, and it's like romanticizing it. You see, if we think just like this response from AI, which is like coming from a common belief, it is that there are barriers and these barriers, and it's like these barriers and these pains. It's like, how can I put it? Like they're like they're like mandatory. They're like they stipulate the success. But I think it's not. It's just romanticizing. It's a myth. We forget. Like if we think about it this way, then we forget the amount of what it takes for these people, for anyone, to overcome. And I think what we consider as their achievement is that, not because it's not the pain that causes this, the suffering that causes this. It's that discipline and that effort and all those things combined, and with you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, I do.
To cause the growth.
Yeah. I think that if a human optimizes for the least amount of suffering, they will do less important work than if they endure the suffering and optimize for doing the most meaningful work possible despite the suffering that comes with it. I think it's more.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because all I wanted to say is that the suffering is not like a teach. It's a condition. It's a condition that it.
Right, but the problem is when you optimize for comfort, when you optimize for whatever situation has the least suffering. I'm going to show you a human that is basically doing nothing with their life. And if you instead optimize for how do I leverage my strengths to do insert goal here, whether it be I want to live a beautiful life, I want to help the most people, or I want to, even for selfish reasons, I want to be, I want to be rich or whatever, but a lot of in capitalist societies, in most situations, you have to help people so that they voluntarily give you money so that you become wealthy, right? And that involves helping people, right? Even if you're just a complete narcissist, I think that you're going to have to pick decisions that include suffering, and a lot of it. And I think through that suffering, you're going to learn more. I think you're going to learn things that very few humans learn, because they're not willing to tolerate the conditions necessary to learn those lessons. So I think there's this like.
Okay, I agree. So I just want to. So can we agree that we don't grow because we suffer? We grow despite of that, because you know what you know why I'm trying to
You're really pushing back on this. Yeah.
Do you want to know why? Because in that case, then we the result would be, the most oppressed people must be the most successful people. Which, obviously,
that's not true either.
The opposite. It's not true. So, but because there should be all these examples. Yes, there are very exemplary that they came from nothing, and they achieve a lot. And we know it because they're few. That's exactly why they become exemplary and the fews and make it. That's why there is that's the problem. Because with that. That's why I just want to say, and we should not forget the amount of effort. I think that, if we just say, these people are suffering, so they deserve this and this and this.
I didn't say that either.
If these people, exactly. I'm saying that these are the problem of romanticizing this. So it really concerns me.
Hey, moderators, point of order, moderators, moderator. Put me in your queue, moderators.
Yeah, I just want to say, you want to speak next? Just 1 minute though. So, is it your view, Stephen, that what's your view exactly? I'm not understanding the way you're speaking to me.
Point of order, moderate.
Like we're saying about Noam Chomsky, is far above my head. Can you simplify your point in a few sentences, please, so I can respond, Mr. Stephen?
Don't optimize for comfort.
Don't optimize for comfort. That speak to me like I'm 5 years old.
Hard things sometimes aren't fun, but they can yield results. But if you keep doing hard things, then sometimes you get better at them. And other people think they're hard, but you think they're easy because you're now better at it. And it makes life more fun and more beautiful.
Yeah, I'm still stuck, and that's an issue with me. Can you? I don't think a five-year-old would be able to take that in.
Oh, well, I tried. I'm not a parent of a child.
Yeah, hold on.
I tried.
Yeah, let's just say, like, improve efficiency. Like, it's like trying to overcome the barriers. Do not let the suffering push you back. Do not let it become a barrier. Do not let them stop you. But at the same time, do not expect just because you suffered, something good must happen to you. It will happen to you only if you improve efficiency. That's what he meant.
Do hard things.
Yeah.
If I were to really simplify it,
exactly, like go through challenges. Don't be afraid of challenges.
I thought you was talking about antinatalism.
I don't know what that is.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I said, like, can I ask Stephen a question? And then I went back to that topic. Oh, I'm sorry. No. You want to relate that to antinatalism?
No.
We can let Ray.
Like you wanted to say, like, why should we bring the kids to this world so that they suffer? Because that's obviously what it's going.
Hello, point of order, moderators, point of order, put me in your queue. Thank you very little.
Good is coming from the suffering. Like, you should not be scared of putting kids that you're bringing to this world into sufferance because, they might, there is a moral lesson to it. That I think, you don't be afraid. Yeah.
Okay, can that apply, though, to children or adults once they've been born?
Hello, moderators. After you're done with your lines of questions and statements, please put me in your queue. Thank you very little.
Let our friend go.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I like, when people, when professors can share anecdotes or analogs or personal experience to verify their philosophy, their theory, their experiment. And I would just submit that every single hour that you spend on this app is technically an experiment. And so, I like to think about priorities of communication and intelligence and how I spend my time in real time. I don't want to do some kind of after action ready review. I want to do real time critical analysis of how I'm spending my time. It's an interesting conversation. I have no children. And then I think, many times, God, if I had a child, oh no. Do you know how much time I'd have to spend thinking and preparing and working and doing and for this child? Because it's basically your entire life is reversing entropy. When you do your routine and your pattern and you clean your house and you take your garbage out and you do this and you do that and you take a shower and you brush your teeth, like you are completing a daily circuit. And if you introduce additional, buffers, and I'm just saying that antinatalism is not a priority, is what I'm really trying to say. And so, Stephen was talking about productivity, and how, to me, that's not a sufficient answer for the situation, because so much of our productivity is completely unnecessary, which is nothing more than saying our communication. So much of our communication is completely unnecessary. And antinatalism is one of those examples, because whether you like it or not, your subconscious mind from birth is completely programmed to baby, to replicate itself. And so whether you like it or not, that's what the entire universe is doing, in the same way that a tree or a flower is produced by the universe through the earth. Babies are being produced. And this consciousness, I think, was it Stephen who read earlier that we are the universe observing the universe through, these lenses. The thing is, there is a subjective world which can enhance this consciousness. So a lot of these atheist rooms, I encourage people to join what's called the book club, where we just read a book to each other for 10 minutes, and that's our information packet exchange, as opposed to this ruthless opinion, discourse, rhetoric, politicking, suggestion, hypnosis, which is nothing more than conversational hypnosis, which is what I think is happening here right now. And most of Clown House is just entertainment, and it's low quality information packet exchange. I like the good life, and I think if you want to obtain the good life and maintain the good life, it requires high value information exchange, not low value, ruthless time wasting. That's my information submission packet. I consider it proprietary, and I am complete.
Okay. So, do you agree that adults should put children in a situation where suffering is guaranteed? Or make a decision where children don't face any suffering at all? Which one?
I think ideally it would be voluntary. You put them in this, you let them choose what they want, and you say that these are the benefits of taking this choice, and these are the benefits of taking this other choice, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, how does somebody choose that, consent to that before they're born?
Oh, you definitely can. So
you think? So I want to be clear here.
There's actually.
I want to be clear here. So and read as well. Do you think that humans should go through life putting potential children, or children who are here already, into a situation where they're certain to face intense pain and suffering? I say no.
Okay. I want to give an important side note, which I think is really kind of fun. I once did a deep dive of whether early childhood has any memories of before they were born. And there is a lot of data that suggests that children, this is not objectively true evidence, but a lot of children, a majority of children have memories of before birth. And many of them report to have chosen to be born, which I think is fascinating. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that's such a fascinating concept, and I know you were touching on that earlier.
What would be the conclusion if they chose not to be born?
The conclusion?
What would happen?
I have no idea what the conclusion would be. I have no clue what that would mean. I guess it just means that they just popped into existence, right? That would be the conclusion, right?
Yeah. I think mothers and fathers, men and women, when they have a child, they think about the child. I think that, they're doing it for selfish reasons. I think that they would get pleasure from having a child. They even choose a name that the mother and father likes, that they like, nothing to do with the child, what they like or not. They choose out clothes. They choose clothes, what they like. Okay, nothing to do with the child. And basically, when you're a child up to 16 or 18 in America, you're kind of like a slave. You take orders for the most part, right? But all these things, the more I understand antinatalism, the more I respect the cause for it. Really, I think it would be better for humans to allow themselves to become extinct. I wouldn't want any suffering through that process. Just stop having children. There's no need for it. There really isn't. It's all for selfish reasons, if you ask me.
Okay.
I mean, people say they want their family name to continue. I think that's selfish as well.
Sure.
So I'm going to say myself. I don't think that children. I don't think adults should bring about a situation where children are going to face intense pain and suffering, where that pain and suffering's guaranteed. I think a situation would be better that the child doesn't face any suffering, and I think Woody Allen has said something similar, and I think Professor Hitchings has said something similar as well.
Okay.
And others. It's just something that makes sense to me.
Well, you don't have to try so hard today, because you can simply say, look what happened to Rob Reiner. You want to have something in your house that constantly, threaten to kill you? No, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, take this on board, everybody. Take a good point, Rashani. Listen to this. A child is brought into the world through no say on their own, right? They're not consenting to anything. They're born. And let's say they're 10, 12, 13, 14, and they're suffering from clinical depression. I don't know anything. I never say anything profound. I'm only repeating, okay? But I've read that clinical depression is like torture. From as soon as, all day and night you're tortured. And this person does not have the right to commit suicide, to end their own life, okay? They have to remain alive, okay? And that is one of the most horrific things.
Why are we talking about this?
I've ever witnessed in my life. I've ever heard about.
Okay. Well,
and remember,
I'm not going to rob humans of their right to procreate. I mean, even if I believe it's selfish, and I think sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. I don't think it's always selfish. I'm certainly not. I don't believe in a world where I would enforce. I wouldn't vote for a society that enforces no, you can't have kids anymore.
That's China.
Yeah. What about a mother and father in a country where it's certain that they're going to be sold, as a slave or a sex object as a child? What do you think about things like that? Or even in war-torn areas? Apparently in the Gaza Strip, so many people, mothers and fathers, are procreating, and so many babies are born in a so-called hell on earth. How about that? Are all these things okay with you? Is it okay?
Are they okay with me?
Is it okay for a man and a woman to have a child, bring a child into the world, when they know that child is going to be sold as a sex slave?
I'm going to zoom out first and say that I've accepted.
Take the deepest breath of the day and hold
I've
this for
accepted
10
that there
seconds.
will always be evil in this world. And I also have given myself permission to be happy, even in the existence of evil, and I've accepted that evil will always exist no matter what I do. And even if I can make it a little bit less in this world with me than without me, I think that is what I should like. I think that's a good goal. Is to not add to the evil, but to subtract from it whatever amount of evil there is.
Well, I don't believe in evil myself.
Okay, well, if we look at situations where suffering is incredibly high, I understand that these situations do exist, and that there are many situations that I can't do anything about suffering, and that I should, at least within my own faith, my faith tells me that I should only focus on what I have control over, and that I have more than enough things to work on that are well within my control than things like whether or not other people can have kids. That is well outside of my control. It's much more beneficial to the world and to myself that I refocus on what I have control over.
All right. But you think that it's a human right for a man and a woman to bring a child into the world, and what's projected for that child's life is irrelevant in that human right?
Oh, let me restate that I believe that my opinion on this either way doesn't matter because I don't have control.
This is how to tell if your olive oil is fake.
And it's more important
at some point
for myself and others that I only focus on what I have control.
And that video was on TikTok. I mean, that's how.
I don't think you have to control if you have to
even more
to bring up a child into the world.
Even if there will be a ceasefire.
Yes, this is true, and I do. To your point, I look at my own social standing, and I look at the living conditions that I would bring a child into, and also my socioeconomic situation of how well I can help this child grow and live what I consider to be a beautiful life. Those would certainly be factors in bring a kid into the world. If I were in Gaza about to be sold as a sex slave, I probably wouldn't have kids. But again, I'm only focusing on what I have control over.
Yeah, I have a child actually. I have a son. But I didn't even think the idea of doing anything wrong didn't even enter my mind. Back then,
How has your experience been being a dad?
It's been okay. But my son has had sicknesses, bullied at school, beaten up, depression, and I brought my son into the world. My son had absolutely nothing to say in the matter, and I brought him in that situation, and it's I feel some level of.
Yeah. Did you ever ask him when he was young if he has any memories of before he was born?
No.
I would. If I ever became a parent, the second they were able to talk, that would be the first question I'd ask. I would really want to know.
I think age 6 was the longest I can go back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really be curious. The studies that I found show that kids forget any memory of pre-birth memories by the age of 8. But many kids before the age of 8 have these memories of before they were born. Which I think it's cool. I mean, it's where I don't know. I thought it was cool, but it's possible. It's possible that your child chose this. It's possible that he didn't. But I think making the assumption that he didn't choose it, I think is a little, I don't know. It's possible. I'm just saying it's possible that he did choose it.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the. I mean, if you're choosing to be born, okay, then you're born, fine. But if you choose not to be born, what does that mean? You choose to be like a stillbirth or something, or a miscarriage?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm unlike a lot of religious people. I am happy to let you know where I'm ignorant.
It's hard to believe currently that a child can make such a decision for me before birth.
Well, I would I just think there are cool studies out there. I mean, on the subject matter, but they're not conclusive or anything. But they're I do believe, in my weird religion, I do believe there's a source of consciousness. I think there's a place where souls come from into existence, and I do believe there's a place where souls go when you die. But again, like you said, I don't really have any evidence for that.
Is it a comfort for you?
I don't know. Because I would be fine if somebody was like, hey, when you die, that's it. I think that would be equally comfortable. So I guess not. I don't think it's a comfort thing, because I would be totally fine if somebody's like, hey, when you die, there's just nothing, just straight end of the movie,
Why'd you believe it then? I mean, some people don't. A lot of people I've spoken to, they said that they don't have the evidence of a God or heaven, paradise, right? They said they just believe because it's a great comfort to them, but you don't have any such comfort, so that's why I asked you.
I think it just makes more sense to me.
I believe when humans die, you just go in the earth and rot away, just like a rat would rot away. This is what I believe.
Yeah, I do believe that whatever happens to us also happens to rats. So I think that if I believe consciousness is not just a human thing. I think it's also a rat thing.
I'm going to ask you something random, Mr. Stephen.
Okay.
Do you mind me asking to name a few of your favorite movies?
Sure. Yeah, I really like Contact. I like Memento. I like Fantastic Mr. Fox. Inglourious Bastards. The Matrix.
Oh, you mean that movie with Inglourious Bastards with Tarantino movie where they look for Nazis, right?
Yeah, that one.
It is such a joy to welcome you today.
What was that other one you mentioned? Fantastic.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
All the Rebbeinu Yeshiva are really focused.
It's very cute. Yeah.
On transmitting this Masada from the Mir Yeshiva.
Me and Miss Jackie we're a film. Well, she's a film buff, but we like films a lot.
Okay.
We speak about films, and Miss Jessie used to speak every week on. There used to be film shows every week, and we're trying to get them back together. Like once a week, but there's not that many people who want to who show up.
Well, I recommend the movie. Fantastic Mr. Fox is a great.
But you didn't have fun.
not a big movie watcher. I'm trying to make my life a movie. I'm always like, why am I watching this other story when I can just write my own? But next,
Sorry, like I don't know why I'm keep going back to that suffering thing, but no, it's because it's part of religious belief also.
Okay.
Now I know. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. I must have, like, before I start everything, I must have known. I wasn't here, I think, when you said that you believe. So that would have answered all my questions. Because there is, like, it's a fact of existence, and, like, you know, it's a divine plan, and there's redemption to it. And so, yeah, now I understand, like, where that coming from.
okay, cool.
But I really appreciate that you find something that gives you comfort, and you clearly a very peaceful, person, and that if that's what religion gives people, then don't look further. The problem with religious people these days is that either they're trying to force you to their belief, or they're, using it for another reason.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's so often that I'm like in these other religious rooms. I'm in, like, in the Christian rooms, they always tell me, like, oh, you're so lost, you're so confused. Keep searching for Christ, and one day, just keep searching, just keep reading the Bible. If you don't believe it, just keep on reading indefinitely until the day you die. Don't you dare, like, just focus on, like, doing good in the world, or, like, trying to self-actualize or help others self-actualize, or love as much as you can. No. I want you to keep reading the Bible until you believe what we believe. That's what I keep hearing from Christians. Yeah, and I'm like, this is horrendous advice. And then the Muslims, they tell me the same thing. They're like, oh, well, you got to spend all your time just learning about being a Muslim, and maybe you'll be a Muslim. And if you're not a Muslim, then you'll focus your time towards learning about being a Muslim, so then maybe you can be a Muslim. It's like, it just makes me want to, like, vomit. Like, this is what, you're being like a representative of your faith, and this is what you have to bring to the table. It's like, I'm underwhelmed. So as someone of my own weird faith, I'm not here to tell you to just believe what I believe. I'm here to tell you that I'm probably wrong with most of my beliefs. And that's okay. And that my only belief is that God certainly believes in the concept of being close enough. If God is out there, God wants you to do good, and He understands that you'll make mistakes, and that you'll probably get closer to the guy that talks all the time if you just do just keep doing it, and you'll probably make some mistakes along the way, but you'll do more. And then you can believe whatever you want. Yeah. Who am I to tell you what's right or wrong? Like, I think a greater net benefit would come if I say, just do whatever you think is right. We don't even have to focus on what's right and where we disagree on right and wrong. I think it's a waste of time. I guarantee you that I've not changed a single person's mind on Clubhouse of what is actually right and wrong. I guarantee it. I've never changed anyone's opinion on abortion or immigration or tax policy, moral dilemmas. I've never changed someone's mind on here. Any attempt at it is a complete and utter waste of time. However, I do think that it is always a good use of time to say, hey, let's both do something
that we consider good together. Let's do that. Let me be the instigator of action, and let me not judge you on what you believe is good or what I believe is good. We can both do what we both think is good, and that's probably going to definitely the negative.
Rubenchik, don't you think that essentially you're looking for a shortcut or a solution? I mean, or are you just here for entertainment? I mean, are you looking for certainty? Are you looking for new approaches? You know, like what is your goal in your experiment? You know, in this 2-hour-long conversation, like what makes you keep coming back to Clown House? And have you found any solutions? And are you implementing any solutions?
I'm after answers, actually. Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Have you found any answers at all in the last 2 hours to anything?
I don't have nothing that changed my mind. I personally think, no offense, I personally think people who come onto Clubhouse for the most part are rejects of society.
That's a bit harsh, but okay.
Like, please at least appreciate that Stephen and I, from two different sides of this spectrum, a religious, completely atheist, we reach an agreement to a common good. Let's do common good at least, and we all agree upon that. Isn't that an achievement here? A success.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so. Yassi, what will you?
Agreeing on Fantastic Mr. Fox. That is.
That's a great movie.
A success. Oh.
Great movie.
Now, I wasn't speaking about you, Stephen, when I said rejects of society.
Yeah.
Well, I'm included for sure.
No, we are. We all are included, and that's. Yeah, that's a bit harsh, but.
Yeah, but Mr. Stephen, what I mean is, I feel a lot of people on here. I mean, you could go to a classical recital. You could go to a ballet like I did on Saturday in Nutcracker in New York. You could go to the doctor's office and you could have conversations with people, right? And nobody would think. You say this is just a regular guy, you know. But a lot of people on here who shout at people and call people mother F's or talk about doing things with a person's mother. I do view these people as rejects of society. I do think that these people, in public,
Imitation of women. Teach me that again. Mr. Potter, what a surprise. Tell you what do I have one of my girls?
I think I'm a reject regarding my upbringing. You won't ever get somebody. You won't get an Orthodox Jewish person. The way I was raised, wasting time on stereo. On Clubhouse. It'd be an entire waste of time, completely unproductive. So so I'm not saying that about you. You're fine, and Yassi is fine as well. But it's a hard thing to say. That's true. I agree with you, Stephen, and I agree with you, Yassi.
Imitation of women.
Yassi, I think it would be considered a success in my book if you were very specific about the good that you will do today that you otherwise wouldn't have done if we didn't have this conversation.
Well, what good would I?
What good can you commit to doing today that you otherwise wouldn't do?
That's what I would define as good.
How about you give me a homework? Can you do this? And I would tell you, okay, I would commit this consider good, and I consider good. That we both agree.
Well, I don't want to. It would violate my belief system if I told you what is considered good. I think that's for you to decide, right?
Okay, what if I tell you that one thing about something to myself, but now I'm thinking about this to someone more in need.
That's a great idea. Yep. Yep. And you'll commit to doing that today?
Yes.
Great.
Like also
Wonderful. That now I consider this conversation a success. Yes. That's what it's all about right there.
What you were saying, like with books and everything. Is here right now. About books.
If you are here all the time, squat.
So about like conversation
you will achieve no splendor, no victory.
I talk about a few like books that contradict each other, but they all have like this and suffering and all these things that we talked about.
Where's the priorities of America? Is anybody here interested in communication priorities?
Let's go classic. Shakespeare came and I can explain why. The next one that I can think about is Kafka.
True.
The other one is what's it called? Margaret Atwood. The last one is Silo. Silo also is a series. If you like, but you have it's a new book. It's a series. It's very interesting.
I mean, if you're an atheist and you believe in science, you believe in experiments and observations and repeatable results. And so you have to look at your time on this app, this conference call, as an hour-long experiment, an increment. And what did you gain, or what insights did you learn? That's why I say the book club is the fastest and best way to develop self in your experiment. Life is just this repeating 1 hour, increment of time. And it's a question of what you're listening to, what you're thinking, what you're saying. And the way to modify your conditioning is primarily through the book club. If you don't engage with books, your understanding of the situation, of the universe, of how to move about the face of the earth is completely restricted because you're not in the book club. And moderators, I would call a point of order moderators. I'd like to be put in the queue to share with you the sacred text document that I put in the chat about 3 hours ago, talking about giving evidence to suggest there is no God. Are you prepared to receive this instruction in what I like to call the Clown House Experiment Book Club?
You can continue, certainly.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to I gotta go.
Okay.
But
it was so nice talking to you, especially because you put me into good. And I don't know if that's you or not playing saxophone.
That's me.
Hope, awesome. So good luck on your music career. I hope we come across again on this app and talk good and positive.
Sweet.
Wait, Stephen, before you leave, I just want to get your opinion on this one sentence, Stephen. The absolute rule of the state shall be a function of the absolute liberty of each individual will.
I think it's very pretty, but I also lack the I don't know if I can critique it or agree with it or disagree with it. It sounds very pretty though. Sounds like it's right. Sounds pretty good.
Stephen, and then was it worth it? The 3 hours here speaking with Rubenchik. Did you personally gain any additional insight into do you have any summaries, or what was your experience like?
I'm really trying to work on my communication. I really want to see how I can benefit others through communicating. So I think that's in some ways I learned what was fruitful from this conversation and in what ways it wasn't fruitful. And I'm going to try to replicate what was fruitful.
Some people.
So, yeah, I think it was a good use of time.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Well, Rubenchik, Yasi, I want to thank you for putting together this little experiment for us. I found it to be, a polite, very polite conversation, and I like polite society because impolite society is a waste of time. That is the lowest form of information packet exchange. And I just want to say that developing your own proprietary religious, psychological, philosophical, perspective is within your right. But, I have to remind you, the book club is hundreds of years old, thousands of years old. I mean, I can pull a book from 2,300 years ago, and that information is timeless. And the point is, it's a software update from the past. And unfortunately, until you start actually doing software updates to yourself through books, you will never progress to where you really want to go. And there are shortcuts. And that enlightenment type of mentality is within your grasp. It's just a foot away in a book. Clownhouse will not give you anything. It will only take from you. This app uses you. It makes you into a fish or it makes you into a fly. And Rubenchik and Yasi, you are either fishermen or you are spiders. But whoever you are, a book, will transform you into the phoenix from whatever state you're in. And the phoenix is truly the blessed state to be in because you're free and you're full of power and energy. So this may be, a very rudimentary philosophy. I'm just telling you that, taking the deepest breath of the day and holding it for 10 seconds will be the most important thing that I can possibly tell you in my information packet exchange on this conference call. I am complete.
I'm gonna tap my Tibetan singing bowl as well.
Stephen, do you know that? And I think sorry, sir.
Yeah, I'm busy. This is important. Okay.
Do you know, I think in 40 minutes there's a jazz room, the new jazz listeners. Have you been there? Are you a jazz player?
Am I a jazz player? I'm sort of. Yeah.
Okay, so they're very good. I think let me see if I can send you an invite to their room if you're interested. Just because Roger said.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. What's happening here?
Yeah, Jesse.
Oh, what are we? So I made a mistake. Like the room was going on right now. I think they're doing it an hour early. So yeah, I sent him the invite.
You want to go and listen to the jazz, do you?
No. I sent the invite to Stephen if he was interested.
Yeah, I don't like jazz music myself.
I know. It sounded like he was a sax player, so I thought like he's probably.
But having said that, I do like a saxophonist on the sidewalk at midnight on a rainy Parisian evening.
I have actually a few like favorite jazz because I like.
Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold for 10 seconds, hold for 10, not 11, 10, not 9. Hold for 10 seconds. Let it go.
I don't know. They have a tendency, they will allow somebody to spit in their face and then excuse it like it's raining. They always have an excuse for poor behavior.
Is that projection? Hello? With all due respect. That's projection.
Wait, one second. Just like in Gaza, you level it to the ground. Don't take their shit.
Well, Gaza has issues. So.
Hello?
Israel appeared weak in that moment. Every single Arab government would have descended on it.
I mean, if the United States would have allowed that. I mean,
Can you imagine if
Gaza has issues and there's nothing wrong.
The Middle East is a death sentence.
Yasmin, you sound like the one who has excuses. I had to kill the children because if not, they would have all the time.
We don't do respect. David, pour yourself another glass of Rancho. David, take a shot of whiskey. David. Hello?
There's no
Hello? Right. I just want to quote McZed and say, right.
Can you imagine?
Right.
Can you imagine if?
Right.
Can you imagine? Tell this person, shut the fuck up.
I'm quoting McZed over here. Right.
Have to get what's his face out of here.
Right. I'm quoting McZed over here. You guys don't like it, but I'm doing McZed's work. McZed is on vacation with his family.
Bro.
Right.
Diego needs a lawyer.
All right.
Right.
So, can you imagine if Can you imagine if it worked the other way? Like, let's say the Palestinians or like a Middle Eastern like group.
Right.
I think America would do. I mean, they would have been a lot more ruthless.
What? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
Right.
After 9/11.
I don't talk about the war. I don't
Sorry,
talk about the war that much there because there's still like too much information.
Right.
I don't know. Perhaps they could have had gone over the top in responding. I don't fucking know.
Right.
Dude, look at what happened with Nagasaki and fucking Hiroshima. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Right.
they were just fucking. No, you can. At least the rationale behind those bombs.
Right.
Would have saved a lot more lives than they took. No, dude, rationale.
Right.
Their way of trying to force Japan's hand into ending the war.
Right.
Otherwise, that would have been a bloody battle to fight.
Right.
Them up. They attacked America. Every single time that America was attacked on their own board, on their own like shore and stuff. And I agree with this, by the way. And this is why America is so strong. Is that you attack us on our territory, we're gonna fuck you up, and we're gonna make it so that you don't ever do that again.
Right.
And that's it. And Israel should perform the same way.
But I think
this
it's
weird
really
thing.
funny.
Hold on. Don't Hamas feel bad for them, like they're retarded. So feel bad for them and give them pity. No, motherfucker, you're fucking
suicidal apathy.
Yeah,
I'm not somebody who's. First of all, I don't have a stake in this fight. I'm not somebody who's going to prematurely say, "Oh no, but everything Israel did is okay." I don't know that. It's not like they have press that's out there. Foreign press.
Actually, the historical record shows that
the numbers that we have
done very little. That's okay.
And the numbers we have.
Right.
Yasmin, hold on a second. And the articles and the numbers that we do have. Yasmin, hold on.
No, not hold on.
Yes, I was in the middle of speaking.
Sneak in this game, so I don't know why you talk.
Yeah, I know because he asked a question, so I'm responding.
But why are you?
Okay, I'm just gonna go talk over you.
All right, go ahead.
But when it comes to the Hamas numbers, okay, they give us a number of people dead. We don't know who exactly they were, how they were killed. What is information do we have to go off of? Like, what the fuck can I actually?
Right? Listen, I've taken over McZed's law firm, okay? Right? And I'm here to do McZed's work, right? So I'm just going to say, right?
John. Anyway, so
right.
Why is it so now? Why do we have to treat these fucking people like they're fucking retarded? Like feel bad for them? No. If you take action and you represent a group of people, you represent Gaza or whatever, you need to take accountability for that. You need to take accountability. Your actions have consequences, and sometimes civilians get killed. Sure, it is what it is. So this whole thing, I don't feel bad for them. I mean, obviously, I feel bad for the innocent people that have nothing to do with it that died. Of course, I do.
Like the peacekeepers and the international humanitarian groups and all that, and the hospitals.
NGOs are just by
right. So here's the problem. Hold on. Here's the UN. Yeah. Okay. So listen. Here's the thing about that. So because Hamas is not a state, because Gaza is not a state, they don't have to be on the same standards as Israel does. So they can break international law all they want. They can just run around and be like, oh yeah, we're just a terrorist group. So we don't have to abide by international law. If they were a state, what they did to Israel would have violated international law too. But because they're not a state, and they don't want a state, and they don't want a state, and they don't want a state because they got rejected because they rejected every single proposal. They're playing this. They're playing this victim card, but then they want to attack. Motherfucker.
Yeah, but I would say this. One thing I would.
Hold on.
Oh my God, David.
Hold on. One
question. That's actually not true because because they actually signed the Rome Statute in 2014, which granted the ICC jurisdiction. So they could have been tried internationally, whereas Israel did. No such
thing as international law. It's
they could have been tried internationally, whereas Israel did not sign. The Palestinian Authority did sign it, but the Israelis.
Right, but you don't have to. The PA has no jurisdiction. The PA has no jurisdiction.
It means nothing. It's just there for show, unfortunately.
Exactly.
It's totally performative.
It literally doesn't.
The PA has no seats in
The same way that when Jordan violated international law and just like relinquished the West Bank because they just wanted to, that's also violating international law. And then it was Israel's problem to deal with after Jordan just said, "Yeah, we don't want these people anymore." So now it's on Israel. So now Israel has to deal with this shit.
It is true. The reason why the refugees.
You know, Chase. You know what's funny is like, so the West Bank, like Egypt said, like, no, we don't want anything to do with it. The Turks said, like, no, we don't have anything to do with the Palestinians. And Jordan said, like, no, we have nothing to do with
You know what else? You know what else violates international law? You know what else violates international law in '67 when they attacked Israel? You know what else violates international law in '73 when like 5 countries like fucking attacked Israel at the same time? That's also violating international law. You know what else? We
know they've done a lot of terrorist attacks. We all know that. Now, when it comes to so first of all, like I prefaced it by saying earlier, we have numbers. We don't know who they are, how they were killed. I see people that are really dug in on both sides that are just they're making absolute claims despite having absolute truth. I think it's rather silly. Now, like after October 7th, I think it's yes, and any country that with the modern military would have responded. I'm not against them taking military action. I personally I don't know. I can't say. It could be that Israel did some pretty fucked up shit. I don't fucking know. It could be that they did everything really well. I don't know.
Pepe, how many people said
this idea that there is a war crime-free war? It doesn't exist. Every war has crimes.
Well, that's why you'd have to use comparison.
The matter. So yes, war crimes were statistically.
Yeah, but that's why you would obviously have to get all of the information.
What people are doing is they're taking individual crimes against humanities that are perpetrated by the individual, and they're trying to apply
crimes against humanity.
And on top of that,
that's the best.
And on top of that,
a war crime is.
And on top of that,
yeah, war crimes against the fucking Hague.
A war crime.
Like, who's
just
David, please, Simon's talking. Go ahead, Simon.
You violate your own.
I apologize, Simon.
Laws of engagement. That's it. That's what a war crime is. Have the concept of war crimes. That's why nobody's getting tried on their end for what they did.
Yeah, I know that.
Hamas.
Right. It doesn't mean anything, right? Like,
when people say like, "Oh, Israel's committing war crimes," it's like, how is a country committing a war crime?
Yeah, like it's almost like so BB's like quote unquote like you know in the court of like international law is guilty or whatever you want to say. But when it comes to like international crime, international courts, like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Also, Israel is so under the microscope. The amount of lawyers and like legal teams that are involved before any trigger or any listen to this guy speak, and they have a whole team of lawyers.
Somebody say lawyer,
on international
right?
law because they're
right.
Everybody's watching what they're doing, so they're
right.
trying to like please and dot all their I's.
But we have had reports that that both the attorneys for Israel,
right,
had stated that there's, they feel strong evidence.
Right.
Were committed.
Right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. 100% right. Totally right. He's right. She's right. Right. Right.
Insecurity is so crazy.
Right.
Every single you cannot say anything about Israel without.
Right.
It's so crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single country has a different definition of war crimes, right?
Right.
So exactly, like who cares?
Exactly right. Absolutely right. 100% right. You're totally right. You are right. Right.
Shut up.
I'm quoting McZett here, right?
Dude, like, all right. So
McZett is only Morgan in the room, by the way.
to bring this full circle,
Right.
you notice that the Palestinian side or whatever is always bringing up international law, but they're ignoring all the times that they broke international law to attack Israel. So they're only bringing up international law. They're only bringing up international law when it's convenient.
Yes, that's fine, but we all know Hamas is bad. Nobody's gonna in this room will question that. Maybe somebody would, but when it comes to Israel, we hold them to a much different standard. We hold them to the same standard. We would hold on. Shut the fuck up, David. We hold them to the same standard as we would a modern first world country such as France, the UK, or the United States. That's how we do it.
Right, that's fine, but here's the problem. We give them excuses. We don't hold them to the same standard. Why? Because they're like, oh, well, that's because our book tells us to. But we
couldn't hold the Taliban to the same standards because we know that they're fucking terrorists. Why would we?
Hold on. No, that's bullshit. The Taliban, we fight the Taliban when they're arguing with us or when they're doing things we don't like, and when they do things that we like and they do what we tell them to do, we're friends with the Taliban. That's what it is. Can you be an asset to us or are you a liability? And then that's how America acts.
But why are you going to hold terrorists to the same standard? Just the name terrorist, dude. It shows that they already operate, out of bounds, in ways that we cannot do it.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're humans, and they know the consequences to the actions. They know the potential consequences. They know they know the might of America. They know the might of Israel, and so when they take those actions,
that's not answering the question. The answer to the question is because they're terrorists. Does that mean that you can do things that are terroristic back to them that are quote unquote war crimes? Obviously, I disagree with that.
But see, that's your problem. You have a superiority complex where you think it's oh well, these people are just retarded. These people are just retarded terrorists, so we don't have to.
We just don't kill innocent people. That's what terrorists do.
Dude, they're choosing to fight in a way. No.
Do you realize what happened?
Hold on. They are choosing to fight the way that they're choosing to fight. They could easily come out and try to fight Israel up front. Obviously, they're not going to do that because they know that they would get destroyed. But if they did, there would be no civilians killed.
Okay, I'm not talking about collateral damage or civilian casualties that so happen to happen when trying to engage the enemy. I'm talking about literally the targeting of civilians, despite there being nobody hiding behind them. That is what I'm against.
Where's the proof of them targeting civilians?
I never said they did.
Well, then you just did actually.
That they're terrorists. That we can do terrorist-like attacks back on them, and that's where I said no. October 7th, they went after a bunch of unarmed people. Do we get to? Do I think Israel, just like the U.S., should not be able to do that? Yeah, of course not.
I understand where you're coming from now.
They targeted military compounds on October 7th as well.
Yeah, less than 100 of the people killed on October 7th were on duty.
But you do agree that they had that's how they focus on the compounds.
So they attacked 12
really? So
civilians, and then around 100 That's not very impressive.
They're not. Hamas was not. There's literally videos of fucking Hamas dragging Jewish civilians. Yeah, beheading people and bringing them into Gaza and watching the civilians stomp on their heads and fucking hear you. What are we talking about?
It would be obscene and abhorrent, even in a military, if they started beheading one another. We would condemn it. It's ghastly. It's barbaric.
Yeah, they were literally
terrorists. That's what terrorists do.
The Muslim guy.
No, the civilians were doing it that day.
Over 6,000 civilians came in as well.
Yeah, 6,000 civilians in Gaza came in and started killing innocent people.
They stole jewelry off of all the dead bodies and stuff. All the bodies came in and none of them had jewelry on them because they had all been looted.
That doesn't mean they're not terrorists. Just because they're not a formal part of Hamas doesn't mean they're not terrorists. You had insurgency fighters that fought in Iraq that were not, formally part of different terrorist groups. If you participate in a terrorist attack, you're a terrorist. Is that
I think that the way that you're framing this, Pepe, I got to be honest. I think that you're just basically saying this. I'm going to summarize your like. Okay, well, I can't like directly identify what Israel's doing wrong. I can't put my finger on it. I don't have any evidence of that. I don't have any evidence, but I know they're doing something. They're doing something.
Israel. No. That's a very bad statement. Because what I'm saying is, shut up, David. What I'm saying is that What I'm saying is that we do not have all the information. I cannot say Israel is doing things well. I can't say that they've done really bad things. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to prematurely make it judgment.
You don't have enough information right now. I feel like, are you fucking kidding me, man?
Yeah, like we can see the intelligence. The intelligence says Israel is the only thing they're doing is helping us, helping America. Okay, maybe they're negatively.
They're attacking 6 countries at the same time, and that.
You can say it. It is not true.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's not true. That's not true.
They're not doing anything for us. They're fighting their own
Lebanon
fucking war.
or if
No, that's not true. That's not true.
To America, if Canada sent missiles.
I disagree.
Right? If you can say it, it is not true. Hello?
Shut the fuck up, John.
Hello?
Israel is going to respond. If you send missiles at Israel, it's coming back full.
Absolutely, right?
And they're willing to sacrifice it because it's great propaganda for the media.
Right?
Because people like you will say, well, Israel's attacking 6 countries. Well, no.
Depends.
You're forgetting about
You can say it.
Who said they attacked 6 countries?
To murder Israelis first.
Who said they attacked 6 countries?
Diego. Because he's referring to Lebanon. The only country that it really has no business, it's Syria. They need to chill out in Syria. Because Ahmed al-Shara has said that he has no interest in war. He doesn't want. He's going to try and work with Bibi, and they keep pushing him. So I would say Syria is their only flaw, but the other countries are deserving of it.
Well, I mean, you gotta be careful there with the Iran thing.
Well,
fuck the Iranians. The Iranians. Do you notice how not a single Iranian blood has spilled this entire conflict, and yet it's all funded by Iranians? So
yeah, but
do you know something about Iranians? They fucking hate Arabs more than they hate Jews. They hate Arabs more than anything on this planet, and they use Arabs in their war, in their Shia-Sunni thing, to do all their fighting. They always have. The Arabs are, no offense, kind of stupid and have always done it. And they just claim more land and territory. They're in Iraq, they're in Syria, they're in Jordan, they're in Lebanon, and they just keep expanding.
Yeah, but okay, but to be fair, I mean, we had 3 service members that got killed in Syria, and you know, with all due respect, the President Trump said, you know, you can't have that. You can't have Americans being killed in Syria. That's no bueno.
Yeah, but that was Muslim Brotherhood. So that's a different thing from the Assad and Hezbollah and all these groups.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like you represent this group of people. This group of people is who you represent. So when you take actions, you have to realize that there are consequences to those actions, and sometimes civilians who aren't in the picture get killed. And you as an organizational group or a state or whatever the fuck it is, need to keep that in mind. And if you don't keep that in mind, that's poor leadership on your part.
That's exactly what Germany said. They said exactly the same thing.
No, so here's the difference. Germany attacked unprovokingly to other countries and started killing a group of Poland, like all these places.
Yeah, because like France had nothing, bro. They didn't want anything.
David, the difference is Germany was offensively trying to take over and trying to I'm German, by the way. So yeah, like they were trying to take over. They were trying to be on offense, and they were trying to entirely remove a group of people. And with this situation, it's completely different. Is that Israel is acting in defense? They're not acting in offense, and they've been on defense their entire existence since they won the war in '48. So
the Arabs declared war on Israel on the day it was founded.
Right. There was no terrorist attacks by the Stern Gang. There was no burning of Palestinian villages before the creation of the state of Israel. Right. These things never happened.
Years worth of history leading up.
Right.
But the
obviously
Israelis were being they're happy in their situation.
David, stop. Is that during the Iraqi War and during even in World War II, you had civilians coming forward and saying this is where they are, and they had civilians coming forward with information and trying to help and get rid of them, which is unique in Gaza. They've been offered, Bibi even offered $1 million and a full immunity to anyone who gives up information about the hostages, and not a single person has come forward in over 2 years, which is kind of shocking because that is something that happens pretty much.
The Germany comparison is a bad one because one is acting on offense, one's acting on defense. And yes, there were attacks by Jewish militias and Arab militias. But if you actually look, if you actually look into the details of like before 48 stuff, whenever like the big conflicts were happening, it was always started by the Arabs. It was never started by the Jews.
Yes.
29, 36.
1921, Nebi Musa riot.
Yeah, like there were all these ones that I looked up and I don't remember all of them. But if you actually look at it, it's like the Arabs always started. They always started it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Arabs started it because you guys dressed up as fucking Arabs.
I'm not Jewish, bro. Don't talk to me like I'm Jewish. I'm not Jewish.
No,
I'm just ridiculous. I'm just keeping it on, like, I'm just being real. Like, this is the truth. Like, and then in 48, like, if you look at the amount of land that Israel actually had, if you look at 37, it's like 37, they literally were like 30% of the population in British Mandate Palestine, and they accepted 17% of the land, even though they made up 30% of the population. And the Arabs rejected it. Why? Because they don't want to get any land. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to be reasonable. And then in 48, most of the land
is like
hold on, David.
Like
hold on,
half of Africa was Muslim.
David, I'm going to put my big mic in. Hold on. And then in 48, most of the land that the Jewish people occupied were purchased legally by Arab landowners, private Arab landowners that received money for that land. So, like, this whole thing of, like, Jews, like, came in and it's bullshit. It's a lie. It's a lie if you actually look at it. It's bullshit. They wanted the land because they were getting exterminated in Europe. So, yeah, they came in and they were, like, basically literally seeking refuge and they wanted to have a Jewish land. But the idea that, like, they came in and just started, like, killing people is bullshit. It's bullshit.
That's right. The Nazis paid for part of it, right? Havar Agreement.
Why do you keep making that comparison?
They hired Nazis.
No.
People just hate Jewish people.
That's not a comparison. The Nazi government paid for Jews to be transferred to Palestine. That is a known thing. It's called the Havar Agreement. All right. They even printed coins. Oh yeah, of course you don't, because you're German. And they have coins that have a swastika on it and a Star of David on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that there's this whole thing of, like,
made an agreement with the Third Reich that their family members would be allowed to leave the country as long as they forfeited all of their possessions. So that was what the Havar Agreement was. So it was family members of Jews stuck in Germany wanting to get out, and they managed to get their family members out. I think there was around 1,000 that got out. But again, they had to forfeit all their possessions. And
I mean, I think that there's a big group. There's like a group of people. There's a group of people around the world that don't have fucking shit to do with their life, and so what they do is they look at their life and they always want to point the finger at somebody else, and they look at just to be fair, like the highest performing people on average, which are the Jewish people. Ashkenazi Jews are the highest performers around the world, at least financially. And they point to them and they say, oh, the reason why, my life sucks is because of the Jews. The reason why I can't get a girlfriend, get laid, is because of the Jews. Like, no, dude, like, that's not the way it actually works.
There's always other things at play.
It's the biggest cope, because any way you break it down, it comes down to envy and jealousy.
I mean, sort of. At least from the financial point of view, like
that's not. I don't think it always comes down to that. Sometimes it comes down to just basically like you feel like they have too much influence or something. It's just shit like that, and you're just like, okay, well, God.
I disagree.
Here's the thing, though. What the fuck are the Jews preventing you from doing?
Yeah, what are they doing? Like,
so
you say like CBS,
NBC,
Fox? No, it doesn't exist.
Sure.
Hold on,
So like in Europe,
I'm putting my big mic in. Hold on.
So I would say like,
How
sure,
are they
so-
controlling the world?
So I would say in Europe, if you were to look at like, just fuck it, we'll just say Nazi Germany. They were, they were very. Jews
Okay,
did have
but we're
quite
talking
a
about
bit
now.
of. Oh my God! Can I finish my fucking point? They did have a lot of influence, and they were, and especially if you look at all of the leaders, the belligerents that were fighting against, particularly the fascists. The communist leaders were nearly 100% Jewish. You can go to Wikipedia, list all of their names. It does get to a point where you just you instead of using a scalpel, you'll just use a fucking shovel.
What about
to
right now?
basically squash any dissent.
There's no European news organization that's pro-Hitler.
The problem is that people who said that, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They were pointing to Jewish finance and the banks controlling everything, which were the Warburgs and the Rothschilds. That's the people that they're talking about. What you don't realize is that most of the war funding were from public banks, not from private banks. So the Rothschilds and the Warburgs had little to do. They had little to do with the start. It was just a cope to try to hate on Jewish people because they were like rising up in power and they were overrepresented in terms of how well they did. But people who say, "Oh, Jewish finance controlled the wars and they started World War I," you just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you don't know what private banking versus public banking is. You don't know the funding between the two.
You're responding to something I did not talk about. I didn't even once mention financiers or banks.
That was the claim. That was the claim.
Yes, but my claim was something. Yes, but I made an entirely different claim.
Okay, well.
So if you're going to address me, address what I said. Okay, I did not say anything about the banks. I was talking about a lot of the political.
Okay, so what is your point?
Shut up, David.
His point is that
when it comes to the far left,
like blame the Jews.
That they had, that was led by Jews in Germany. That's one thing that nobody's going to be able to disprove.
Okay, you're making a point.
Here's the reality. Here's the reality. The reality is that Jews are a very small percentage of the population, and they have an overrepresentation in influential parts because of their habits and because of their culture of their people. And
why are you telling us stuff that's so remedial? Like I know,
dude. Because what you're saying,
you're so. With all due respect, by the way, it seems like you don't understand. So.
You're just I'm somebody who would talk about race realism all the time.
I'm not going to speak for taste, but
which groups tend to have the best outcomes.
Able to educate you on.
Oh my gosh, David, you're fucking blackout drunk. Shut up.
Two types of people in the world: those who want to know and those who want to believe.
That's right. That's right.
Wants to believe.
Yeah, it's just like, dude. Like the reality is that. People are just looking for a reason to hate Jewish people because
some people
to a degree, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's weird. It's like, dude, like I walk around during the day. I live my life. I don't have I like the position that I'm in. There's nothing that's preventing me. It's not like Nick Zed is sitting over here like preventing me from doing what the fuck I want to do and living the life that
I think you're looking at things through oh my God, David. You're looking at things through a very modern lens that's not in wartime. Now, when you have a very fucked up economy, when it's hard to eat, when there's political violence, let me finish, David. And you just so happen to see, and you have to understand, it's the lens in which you're from what you're experiencing at the time. Okay, the Germans had it very rough during the Weimar Republic, and then you see Okay, there's
Well,
one
they were
group of
Nazis.
shut
Of
the
course
fuck
they
up,
were.
Let's
David.
talk about this next time.
There's one
Make
group
sure
of
I
people,
want first
okay, that
materials.
still tend to be doing fairly all right, and they seem to be the ones that are politically your enemies. You don't understand psychologically. Hold on, psychologically, you don't understand. People are human. They're gonna have a reaction to that. I don't know what else to fucking say.
I mean, I just don't know what your overall point is. Like, it's
Yeah,
the reality of the situation is.
Asians on a whole are much wealthier than I would say Jewish people, than my family. I grew up around Asians. I lived in Vancouver.
But that's irrelevant to today. That's irrelevant to today. It's irrelevant to today. You have to look back.
I would say like
when there's widespread poverty, lack of jobs, when there's political violence, you start to look at the people that tend to do a little bit better, and especially those that politically oppose you as much different. You start to make the friend-enemy distinction very clear in your fucking head when you're going through those times.
You're choosing
be nice.
to look at those Jews, those odd Jews that didn't
As a
grow
candidate,
up
Congressman, it's not very
most
mature.
Jews in Europe
of
were
becoming
not
a lawmaker.
at the top ranks. In Western Europe, more, yes, but in Eastern Europe, there's some fucking shtetls.
That's right, Pepe. You saw what happened. You know, like Pepe.
You guys are conflating things. Nobody's talking about. No, shut up, David.
Very wealthy families.
Yeah, nobody's trying to conflate Jews from Tsarist Russia with fucking German Jews. They were entirely different experiences between the two people. So, like, once again,
the Western Jews have a completely different. The Western Jews didn't like the issue.
Wait a second. Are you sure about that?
There's a whole history there.
yes, the Eastern Jews were fucking peasants, and they were forced to be. They were forcefully not allowed to participate in regular society.
No.
You know Leon Trotsky's real name is Bronstein, right?
Yeah.
Just for example, just throwing an example out there. I'm just saying when you're saying there's a difference between German
that's
Jews
kind
and
of
Jews.
why the Jews were overwhelmingly for. Basically, they're going to be anything that was against the Tsar of Russia because they had it so shitty under him.
Europeans.
There's just this
You keep
idea.
saying that the Jews are from here, the Jews are from there, but I thought we were Europeans.
The Tsar.
The reason why.
Okay, sorry.
The reason why Jewish people
You're so
excel
beautiful,
financially.
And that I'm not white, and yet you keep saying that we're from Europe and part of these things. Like, so
But he doesn't. With all due respect, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand.
You guys are a part of a fucking diaspora. You guys are a bunch of different things.
Calm down. Calm down. Relax.
Stop, David.
Yeah, but you need to calm down. You're yelling. Okay, you're yelling.
I know, but David, you won't stop interrupting.
The Jews started.
Yeah, but you're yelling.
Right? David, Pepe is finally right about something. You keep interrupting and you're obstructing this conversation, David. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Right? Right?
Oh, we lost Simon. Where did Simon go?
Simon!
Okay, look, we all know that Jews they can be put in many different.
Stop with the Jews. Okay, stop with the Jews. Okay, can you stop with that, please? Thank you.
Dude, Jewish people excel.
How embarrassing it is for you.
We know they excel, Chase. You're talking to people who totally this is like.
This is gonna say something.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
No. They excel financially because of the fact
watch it, Chase. You're gonna say generalization that it's an anti-Semitic joke. Let's watch it. 3, 2.
No, I don't have to do anything. I could do whatever I want. I could say whatever the fuck I want and kiss my ass. How about that?
3.
Yeah.
2, 1.
Right.
Let's hear it.
Right. So.
You're talking about
right?
By the way, I mean, who knows a lot more about Judaism than
right?
all of us.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't.
But you are teaching us the fucking history about the Jews. Amazing.
Right?
I'm not. I mean,
right? Right?
My own history about an hour ago.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Both of you guys are fools.
I just want to say that the McZed Law Offices this upcoming Christmas is extremely happy to offer our clerks a free holiday Christmas gift bag. And I just want to let you know you're all right. all of you, in your own beautiful way. You're right. You're right.
You purport to be an expert on an issue that you only learned about.
Right?
I'm not an expert, but I know some.
Yeah, but he's Caleb, with all due respect, he knows what he doesn't.
You don't like Chase?
Right?
I like Chase.
Chase is fine. Guys, you're all talking at once. Chase is fine. He does position himself as the foremost expert on this conflict because he listens to Simon for 2 hours.
Right? Am I right? You are right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're exactly right.
Chase, I want to ask you a question. Can you name a time in Europe?
No, I was thinking getting interrupted, so I'm going to put.
But Chase, when is there a time in Europe where there were not ethnic minorities that were not Jewish? Okay, where they were not eventually mistreated. Sometimes
they were right. They were.
This is just.
They were.
Stop. This is how things were in Europe, and yes, they were obviously a very vulnerable population too.
They were. They were right.
Amazing.
Right.
Earlier today, PP was telling us about how Europe is, but he's never finished.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this so that nobody can interrupt me. Okay.
Right.
What I was gonna say is this. I'm gonna say that the reason why they've excelled in finance throughout all of time is because that's all they were allowed to do for the most part. Because they were discriminated against, so they were only allowed to do certain jobs, and then they excelled in banking. And the reason why is because they excelled in banking, and therefore, Caleb, shut the fuck up. I can talk over you. Shut the fuck up. So again, the reason why they excelled more than other people is because that's all they were allowed to do, because they were systematically discriminated against for hundreds of years. So people crying about the banking thing, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, that's the reason why they were pushed into that whole thing. That's where this whole thing stems from. Like, that's where the whole thing comes from. It doesn't matter. That's where the whole thing comes from. That's why there's this whole
damage in the rings. You need someone to break your jaw like Jake Paul.
Dude, I would literally kill you, Kate.
Right? Right? Right?
Caleb, you live in Jersey. You
Right?
don't live too far from me. So
Right.
He brought it up. No, he brought it up. So, yeah, well, you want to bring up violence? I mean, we could do it. I mean, you No, I don't care if you're Jewish. Caleb came in.
Caleb, don't have any UPS packages sent to your house over the next couple of weeks. For God's sakes, do not order Amazon. He might show up with a UPS package. Hello? Am I right? Am I right?
You know the least amount about, like, I'm just going to say it, like, anything regarding the history of Jews in Europe. And all.
Well, obviously not.
You're repeating the most
Obviously not.
things that people would have learned in high school.
I disagree as somebody
obviously
I don't think you should have talked to Caleb like that. That was
I could talk to Caleb. Caleb started with me first. He started coming at me. So
I mean, all of you more, but you're new to the topic.
No, I'm not. I've looked into it enough. I don't give a fuck. No, he's like, oh, settle down, buddy. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. Settle down.
Guys, you're on the same side.
No, dude, I can read people very well. Caleb started acting like a little woman to me since we had an argument about politics. And that's what it is.
Right?
Okay, so he's a rabbi.
Right. Right. With all due respect, you're absolutely right.
I don't care if he's a rabbi. It doesn't matter to me.
Right?
Do you want a cookie because you're a rabbi? Be nice.
Right?
Treat me with respect. I'll treat you with respect.
Right?
Oh, Caleb is a rabbi. I don't give a fuck.
Guys, you're on the same side.
Right?
Chase.
Right.
Chase is calm.
Right?
Caleb is calm. Okay.
Right.
Thank you, David. We appreciate the commentary.
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to welcome...
Caleb brought up Jake Paul. Bro,
Okay, be nice. Be nice.
You wouldn't even. You don't even. You probably don't like. Let's not bring up fighting.
He's the only one in here that's
nobody knows.
I mean,
nobody knows
this
what you
is
look
really
like.
fucking gay. Like
I'm not
shit
saying
with you in a fucking boxing room.
Ooh.
Jewish, by the way. Oh, well, let me guess.
Okay,
You think you can just magically box despite having no experience?
Do you
really think that's how?
Do you not think that I have experience? Do you not think that I have boxing experience? Okay, well, you don't know what the fuck
Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Short king.
And it's not the only thing either. I know how to do other stuff.
Okay, I didn't say so.
Everyone, let's calm down.
Well, I'm pulling my funds from the Chase Your Grace Wealth Management Advisory firm.
That person make a statement.
I'm just saying that if the world is run by the Jews, especially in finance, Chase Your Grace, you're never going to get assets under management totaling at least 100 million. And if you don't get 100 million, you can't earn $1 million a year. So you're just chasing, your tail. And as far as
I don't have money problems, so I don't know.
Like 100 million.
Right?
I'm not crying about Jewish people because I don't have money problems.
Right.
Jewish people have money problems.
Right.
Blame it on the Jews.
Ooh.
Most people, yeah, it is.